Welcome to the squid dissection. We've got a lot to identify, so let's get started. The first thing we want to identify is our mantle, and this is going to be the main body of our squid. We also have two fins on either side of the head, and these are going to help your squid make fast turns in the water. Next, we're going to identify the eyes, so you'll have one on either side of the head. And then we're going to look at our tentacles. So remember that our tentacles are the really long looking arms, and these are going to be used to grab prey and hold on to it tightly. So next we have our arms, and there are going to be 8 of these. These ones are not used quite so much for grabbing onto prey, but for holding onto different surfaces. So now we want to take a look at the suction cups or suckers that your squid has. Your arms are going to have suckers covering the entire surface. And then your tentacles are going to have suckers just covering the tips there. So now we're going to take a closer look at those suckers, and if we zoom in, you can see what looks almost like a tiny row of teeth around the sucker, and that is what helps your squid get a really good grip on its prey. Now, if you look at your squid's skin, you'll see tons of tiny little colorful dots, and those are your chromatophores. So now we're going to take a look at our buccal mass, or the mouth of the squid. And if you flip up those arms, it should be very easy for you to see it. So now we're going to open up the buccal mass. So you can start snipping at it with your scissors, and just be patient because it can be a little bit hard to cut through. So this is our buccal mass. And we can start to open this up even further to see the beak inside. Once you have that buccal mass opened up, you should feel a sharp, pointy structure. And if we zoom in on this, it looks just like a parrot beak. The next feature we want to identify is the pen. So this is almost like an internal shell. This is really similar to a human's backbone, so this helps support our squid while it's swimming. So you can go up towards the mantle, kind of separate it out with your fingers or with a toothpick or with your scissors. And as soon as you've separated those pieces, it should come out very easily. Next up is the siphon. So this looks like a muscular tube right above the arms. If your squid wants to swim away from a predator, it can shoot water out of this tube and move away quickly. Right above our siphon is the ink sac. So depending on how full the ink sac is, it will either look like a thin silver fish or like a thin black line. So you can open up the ink sac by cutting into it with your scissors or with a toothpick. And once you're in there, you can actually use your toothpick to write on a piece of paper or on whatever surface you're using. I didn't have a whole lot of ink in mine, so it didn't work out very well, but it was still really fun to try. Now we're gonna identify the gills. So if you go halfway up your squid, you'll see two kind of feathery structures. And these are just like the gills of a fish. So these are gonna help your squid breathe in underwater. So to review, we have our mantle. We have our two long tentacles, 8 arms at the bottom, our buccal mass, the beak inside. If we look above the buccal mass, we also have our esophagus. It's kind of hard to find, so if you can't see it on your squid, no worries. Then we have our ink sac. And finally, our siphon. And that's it for our dissection. Remember, you are a scientist and you're gonna do great.